Hello everyone, it's Crystal Ether here. The 12th Robins are ready to throw down in a game of basketball this May, coming in with a brave attribute set after a slew of technique sets these past few months. Fans of this set should be eager to get their hands on Sage and Jude, as these two heroes close the gap in the Robins' current roster with strong, versatile skills. As usual, if you really like a card, then go for it. This is a single-player game, so you should enjoy your roster how you like. And if you found the review helpful, I'd appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. With that out of the way, let's get right into it. Sage forgoes his counter gimmick in favor of providing offense-oriented buffs to the team, like banning Bianchi. His skill set is simple, with no gimmicks to keep track of, letting him slot into any Robins team with little difficulty. This Sage card will be a shoo-in for the time being, though lacking a status or attribute damage modifier is a minor setback that prevents this Street Basket card from standing at the top of the supporters in the game's roster. Just keep in mind that Rising Hero Sage is the better buffer when it comes to fighting pure attribute enemies. For frames, I recommend ones that help improve his support role in the team. Hunting for the echo damage is almost always welcome, though his third birthday frame provides a decent stackable defense down debuff on a foe that's useful for boss fights. Finally, the Sparkle is an accessible frame that provides 15% of the burst gauge with a 4-turn cooldown if maxed out, and can be farmed at any time from the second boss in the Sing of the Darkness series. After the surprising breadth of utility that Idol Dino brought, Nico's skill set unfortunately takes after previous Union 3 stars. Underwhelming and won't have much use once a player progresses past the early game. For support purposes, Bunny Nico performs better and is also free if you were there for the event. As for Brave-specific Nico cards, this initial version exists as an option if you just need to fill the slot in a Robins team regardless of role, and the medals that can be earned through Survive events can be traded to obtain this card without needing to spend money. So, if you plan to use this card despite its underwhelming performance, then support-based frames are a must. The Sparkle remains a good option for this version of Nico, but I would avoid the Hunting frame for this card, as 3-star stats aren't high enough to warrant a slot. Similar to his Donut Aficionado card set, both Where Is Tomorrow and his third birthday frames work well with the Street Basketball Nico, with the former providing a level 1 burst damage up buff to all allies, and the latter buffing the critical damage stat of his team members. Similar to Nico, Bianchi's skill set is bare bones like recent Union event 3 stars, though the shorter cooldown on his burst gauge generation skill is a nice improvement. There isn't much to say about this card other than it's useful for the early game, but I'd argue that Bianchi cards with Barrier Effect are much more useful for newbies when HP is much lower over a week, healing over a time effect. My frame suggestions for a Street Basket Bianchi start off with his birthday frame, as the BP generation via critical hits can be useful in certain setups that include multiple DPS cards, or if you aren't using the Welfare Jude from the set. Otherwise, again, the Sparkle makes Bianchi a general BP gauge battery. And yes, using multiple on a team is viable. His frame from the farmable Sing in the Darkness boss supplements Street Basket Sage's stackable attack buff as well. Jude is the most recent Welfare in the Robins roster and is the first DPS Welfare for players looking to build a hyper-carry team with this sector. His attack buff is simple with 100% uptime at max limit break, so it's a good idea to grind out the 50 million points needed to get every copy, if possible. While this Jude could be better with a damage modifier buff or a stackable burst damage buff alongside his first skill, this card is very good to have regardless of your progression in the game, and I highly recommend going out of your way to grab at least one copy of him if possible. Luckily, most of Jude's frames complement the DPS role, so most of them are viable as a main frame option. Standout frames include his third birthday frame that applies a level 2 burst damage buff to Jude, and his farmable 3-star frame from the Sing in the Darkness boss, who provides a stackable attack buff instead. As the latter is free, it won't be difficult to find something that works well for Street Basket Jude, while the Robins catch up to the other sectors' frame libraries. Street Basketball is a theme I didn't really expect out of the 12th Robins, but the cards look great and Jude is a welcome welfare hero for Helios' player base. It's unfortunate that the 3-star cards don't follow Idol Dino's skill set, as it would offer more utility for early to mid-game players, but there's always future releases that can play a support role better. That's all for this review of this highly valuable Robins team, and I hope to see you all in the next video.